I hope you liked my previous video about the long-term review of Dominar 400. This video is going to be a comparison between all the 400cc segment bikes in the Indian market, which are a direct competitor of Dominar 400. So let's jump right in. Now let us compare it to the other competitors in the market. I see very few competitors for Dominar in the Indian market. One would be the Bullet 350, second would be the Himalayan, third would be the Duke 390, fourth would be the RC 390, and now with the latest introduction, the fifth one would be the Adventure 390. These five are the major competitors for Dominar. We will go through them one by one. I do not have any personal grudges against any bike or any brand for that matter. So whatever I am about to say in the video are just for comparison purposes. So I would request the audience to please take this sportively. This is not to hurt anybody's sentiments or any fanboy sentiments, I must say. These are my personal opinions about these brands and these bikes that I've mentioned. So let's move forward with it. Let us talk about Bullet, or let's talk about the Bullet 350 or the Royal Enfield 350. First of all, Royal Enfield is a legendary company and I salute Royal Enfield for that. However, there are a few things that Royal Enfield needs to take care of if they want to survive in the market, because with the new generation, I know that the legacy will last, but if they do not make changes to their new versions of motorcycles, I am afraid that they might face a tough competition with other brands. Other than that, Royal Enfield is one of the best bikes that I have ridden, especially for its legacy. The only major thing or the only major issue that I have with the bike is the body vibrations. I have ridden the Bullet 350 and the Bullet 500 both on the highway, and I must say the vibrations are pretty bad. Let us not get into the details. It was a bad experience for me, so I would not opt for a Bullet 350 or a Bullet 500. It is a good bike, it is one of the best bikes, but the only problem that I have with the bike is vibrations, that like I have mentioned. If Royal Enfield takes care of that, then I might buy a Royal Enfield. Now this is a neck and neck competition, I must say. This is the second competitor from Royal Enfield for Bajaj Dominar 400, which is the Himalayan. That's right, Himalayan is one hell of a bike, one amazing bike. When it comes to comfort, Himalayan is hands down the best bike that I can say in terms of comfort. However, it lacks that power, that punch, that extra thump that the Royal Enfield bikes have. So in spite of being the 410cc bike, I see the power missing. Now that we are done with Royal Enfield, let's come to the KTM series of bike, or the KTM Duke 390, the RC 390 and the Adventure 390. I have not got a hands-on experience on Adventure 390. However, I can say that I have ridden quite a bit of the KTM RC 390 and the Duke 390. Now I could not compare the RC 390 and the Dominar 400 because RC 390 is a racetrack oriented performance bike, and Dominar 400 is more of a highway tourer or a power cruiser, as Bajaj puts it through. When it comes to the Duke 390, the only major problem that I see with Duke 390 is the engine overheating problem. I cannot say whether KTM has taken care of the engine overheating problem in the new versions of the Duke 390 or not. However, that is one of the major issues that I faced with KTM Duke 390. Now I have a riding experience of KTM Duke 390 when I was on a holiday and we rented a KTM, and my god, I was wearing shorts and my legs were crying out to me to spare them, because the heat in summer that you get from the radiator fan of KTM Duke 390 is unbearable. Let's leave it at that. That is it about KTM 390 and the Duke 390. Otherwise, if you remove that aspect of KTM 390 or KTM Duke 390, it is one hell of a performer. Now when you compare the Dominar 400 and Duke 390, the major thing that I like about Duke 390 is the low end torque or the low end power on the bike. I mean, there is no bike quicker than KTM Duke 390 in terms of low end torque, and the way it delivers power in pickup, there is no other bike that delivers this kind of pickup in the lower end of the torque when you compare Duke 390 and Dominar 400. So that is one aspect that I love about KTM Duke 390. You can say the Bullet 350 or the Royal Enfield bikes for that matter have better high range torque. However, when it comes to Bajaj, I must say it balances both of these and it is good at mid to high range torque. So that is the plus point about Dominar. So let us now compare the Dominar 400 and the Adventure 390. I mean, from the feedback that I have received from friends and the people who have ridden the bike, it's a great bike for adventure touring especially. I mean, with the design, with the seating comfort and with the power of the bike, it is a great performer, not only on road but also off road. I have not really compared the Dominar 400 2020 and the Adventure 390, but as far as I have heard, it is almost up to the performance of Dominar 400, or if not greater, or if not better. When I get a hands-on experience on the Adventure 390, I will talk more about the Adventure 390 when compared to the Dominar 400. As of now, it is on par with Dominar 400. That's what I can say. I am not so sure about the engine overheating issue that KTM has, whether KTM has fixed the engine overheating issue in the Adventure 390 or not. If it is better in terms of performance with Dominar 400, I can only say after I have had a hands-on experience and check whether the engine overheating issue is really resolved on the Adventure 390 or it still continues with it. That's about it between the comparison of the Adventure 390 and the Dominar 400. Now we have talked about the 5 bikes: the Adventure 390, the RC 390, the Duke 390, the Royal Enfield 350 and the Royal Enfield Himalayan. However, there is one another bike that we can talk about, in fact, that is the Royal Enfield Thunderbird 350. Yes, that is another competitor for Dominar. I can say that the Thunderbird 350 is more of a cruiser kind of a bike. I mean, like, it is old school. It is not based off of the new technology, it is old school. Having said that, I have experienced this in almost all the Royal Enfield bikes that I have driven. I'm not sure about the Himalayan. However, the Royal Enfield Bullet 350, Classic 350, the Royal Enfield 500 or Bullet 500, or even for that matter the Thunderbird 350 or the Thunderbird 500, there is an issue with the engine oil leaking from these bikes. Yes, my brother owns the Thunderbird 350. I believe it's the 2017 version. I have personally tried to fix the issue or tried to help him with contacts that I know, who can fix the engine leakage issue from the bike. The oil seal from the Royal Enfield bikes goes off pretty quickly. I mean, every now and then. That is the cause of the engine oil leakage issue in Royal Enfield. That is another con that I face with the Royal Enfield bikes. Other than that, Royal Enfield, like I said, it's a legend. They have recently celebrated the 119th anniversary. It is about to be 120th in the upcoming year. I mean, its legacy is unmatched. But if they do not make these changes, or if they do not work on making their bikes better in these terms, they might lose their upcoming fan base. That is what I can say. Now, coming to the service provided by all the 3 companies, KTM, Bajaj and Royal Enfield, by far the best service is provided by KTM, hands down. The second best service, or next to that, would be the service provided by Bajaj, and lastly, service provided by Royal Enfield, as per the Royal Enfield owners, I must say, is not that great, or it is not up to the mark as Bajaj, or even for that matter KTM. When I bought the Dominar 400, I compared all of this. Of course, the Adventure 390 was not launched by then. However, I compared all the other bikes. I pinned down Dominar 400. Lastly, it comes down to the personal preference of any individual. According to my taste or according to my needs, I found the Dominar 400 to be the best bike in the market, and so it is the best bike for me. However, other people who love KTM or who love Royal Enfield might not agree with me, but that is their personal preference. This is my opinions about the Royal Enfield bikes and the KTM bikes that are in competition with the Dominar 400 in the Indian market. So I hope I have not offended anybody by saying what I have said. I hope you guys take this sportively. So that is it about Dominar 400. I hope I have compared each and every aspect of the bike and given you a long-term review as to what you can expect from the bike. And if you're planning for the Dominar 400 2020 version, I would say just blindly go ahead with your decision, because there is no other bike that can provide you better performance for your buck than Dominar 400. I am saying this with 3 years of owning the bike myself, and as you all know, this has been a long-term review. I mean, I would not say don't literally take my word for it. Please go ahead and try the bike yourself, how you feel comfortable with the bike. Try different brands as well, what suits you best, then you can go ahead and buy the bike. But if you ask me, I would pick Dominar 400 at any given day when compared to all the 5 bikes that we have talked about in this video. So that's it, and happy riding. If you found this video helpful and interesting, please do consider liking, sharing, commenting and subscribing to my channel, and see you in the next video. Ciao.